Hello, everybody. Welcome to Community Forum. My name is Ron Vecchia, and we have a special edition of Community Forum this week. It's all about the tall ships. The tall ships are coming. Up to 50 vessels will be visiting Boston from June 17th through the 22nd. So we thought we'd have our police chief in, Terry Delahanty, and we're actually going to introduce our newest member of the Winthrop Police Department. You've been on the job for a couple of months now, but you're new, first time on WCAT. I know there was an article in the newspaper when you first joined us. Deputy Chief John Goodwin. Deputy, welcome to Winthrop.
Thank you, sir.
Chief, welcome to Community Forum as usual.
Thank you.
So John, tell us a little about yourself and how you ended up in Winthrop.
I spent 22 years of my career in the Revere Police Department. I reached the rank of lieutenant. I was running the detective unit for the last 5 years. Chief Delahanty was kind enough, when he was looking for a deputy chief, I applied. We had an assessment center that we went through that was pretty grueling. And I was fortunate enough to be offered the position, and I'm happy to be here.
Great. Well, welcome to Winthrop.
Thank you.
Terry, tell me about deputy chiefs. You shouldn't have to tell me because that was one of the things in the last days of the old regime that we started talking about when I was on the Board of Selectmen, the need for a deputy chief. So tell the folks in Winthrop why we need a deputy chief, the whole
well, it's so
reason
important,
behind
and we did actually find that paperwork, Ron, as I was going through looking for the legacy of trying to get a deputy chief here in Winthrop and through certain committees and boards and what were their findings and what was new about it.
Right.
Why did we need it at this time? As you know, or you may remember, Chief Goldstein started the push for a deputy chief and before his departure. I was the acting assistant chief for a period of time. We fell on hard times. In 2008 and 2009, there was layoffs and Chief Goldstein exited the police chief role, and I took over. You can't expect one person 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a grueling job. That's how we burn chiefs out. Historically, chiefs here stayed 3 years and moved on because we had no infrastructure or structure to support the chief. Everyone else is union in the building. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that the chief needs somebody that he can trust and rely on to talk to and handle situations, and then to take a real vacation with your family and your children and turn the phone off and really recharge your batteries. And that's the only way you can be successful in a post 9/11 era where terrorism activities has us running. The small threat is now a full exercise on how we're going to handle a bigger threat. So it is a grueling job, one I enjoy very much, as you know.
I know you do.
I am pleased to have the job here, and I have great support down the line in the police department as well. And Sean has realized that the incredible assets that we have below us that make us look good in the community. We're just coming off a very busy community policing 2 months. We had the public safety night, and Lieutenant Frank Scarpa retired. We had Memorial Day, then we had bike rodeo the next weekend, and then we just did the Special Olympics, which we had the beautiful stadium in Revere. Sean Driscoll secured for us, and it was a tremendous day over there. And the Olympians enjoyed it, and we enjoyed watching them. So,
it's not to mention the program that you've instituted relative to substance abuse and overdoses, which is prevalent everywhere. But we've had a serious problem here. And you've done a tremendous job, you and your department, along with CASA and the Board of Health and the school department, really have come so far forward in addressing in that situation, but putting a human touch on it so it's easier to actually deal with the cases from day to day.
Yeah, I think, Ron, and I know that Deputy Goodwin knows everyone's affected by this epidemic. Whether you're a police officer's family, a politician's family, just a family that's Joe the citizen's family. Everyone knows somebody that's been affected by this. I'm grateful to have my extended family that have been in recovery for 30-something years guide me and tell me what a person needs and is looking for. So I'm happy to have that support. And of course, you know, your wife, Linda, has been a great supporter and a champion of this cause for many more years than I. And we appreciate her efforts at the beginning because it really started to push us in the right direction. And we have the juvenile diversion program that we set up as well. For minor offenses, we can divert them for an educational seminar instead of charging them criminally. And those are the programs where I see myself carrying through and developing more programs like that, and making sure these programs are on good footing. And the deputy chief is now worrying about the day-to-day operational end of the police department, making sure the reports are in, they're approved by supervisors, that the policies are being followed.
That makes
So
sense.
it's really a good partnership, and you know, as we get closer to accreditation, which we are getting close, it's what you actually enforce that matters to accreditation. You can have all the policies on the books you want,
Right.
but do you actually enforce it, and how can you show us and prove that you enforce it? And that's another area that John will focus in on.
All right, so we're here to talk about the tall ships. And why don't you give us, first of all, an overview of the entire thing as it pertains to, let's say, Eastern Massachusetts? Because I know they're addressing this thing like it's a kind of a Super Bowl event in terms of security, and there's all types of elements. So let's take a look at the whole picture, and then we'll zero in on exactly what's going to happen in Winthrop.
Sure. It really has to do with the Nahant area, and then south of Nahant, which would be Winthrop and of course Boston, and the Port of Boston is the main focus on this event. Other areas that they are coming into by Gloucester, really not going to have any view of them at all. They'll be anchored off of Nahant and off of Broad Sound the night before, Friday night. They'll be under heavy security over there by the State Police and Coast Guard. And certainly we have partnered with our harbor masters to help us secure our own harbor, and obligations there that we'll get into as we go along. And then about 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, they'll start moving up to the starting line, which is almost like Elliott Circle, is where the parade's really going to start. If you look across from Elliott Circle in the water, they'll start the parade there. These ships are, there's usually one big ship with about 5 or 6, 7 smaller ships behind them, and they're timed very specifically, and they start at 9, and the last ship has to be making the turn at 2 p.m. in the afternoon to be docked, I think it's by 2:30 in the city of Boston.
So they're making the turn at Deer Island coming in.
They're making the turn is actually over by Pierce Park, where they'll
really?
swing around and over by Charlestown. They'll make that turn there, and then they'll find their docking station in the Seaport District. Now, it's where in the Seaport, is it Black Falcon, is it the Seaport, or is it the Aquarium? They have them all spaced out down in that whole area. I can tell you, without getting into their security plan, we've met with Boston and the State Police and the Coast Guard, the Navy, and many of the other armed force branches that will be deployed that day. And it is a heavily secured area in the city of Boston, and Deer Island will be heavily secured here by the Winthrop Police Department and the State Police Department as well. So we can expect that first ship to kick off at 9 a.m. We do at some point at the beginning of that, we'll have a U.S. Navy flyover, and the U.S. Navy ships will jets will fly over in formation, and then they'll come
Any
back.
idea what time that'll be?
You know, I'm not 100% sure what time it's been set. I'm not sure if it has made that first turn or not, but we'll certainly make sure you're aware of it prior to that. We still have meetings ongoing. We had a meeting at noontime today on Sail Boston. We have another meeting at 1 p.m. tomorrow on Sail Boston, and then as we get closer towards the end of the week, we'll be meeting probably every couple hours. And the Joint Command Center is over at in the Seaport District. We all will call in and be represented at the Joint Command Center, which is police, fire, EMS, harbor patrols, and fire department decontamination units and patrols. All will get coordinated through that command post.
So the communications will be there, so let's say Boston would have direct communication with our harbor masters and so forth?
Yes, there's already an interoperability communication plan that each agency has been given, and that we're expected to operate on those frequencies. And obviously we operate on a main frequency, which will have people posted in command posts that can operate right to the command post if there's an incident at Deer Island or in the Point Shirley area.
Now, as far as boaters are concerned, the boaters, they'll be able to go out and view, but isn't there a certain time period that they have to get out there and they have to drop anchor, and they'll have to stay there until the parade is over?
Yeah, there's 2 anchorage areas. We're fortunate enough to have one on the Winthrop Bay side, an anchorage area, which means you can come and go on out of the bay up until that anchorage area.
Okay.
You can just not cross the channel.
Okay.
You don't want to do that. It'll be addressed immediately. The people on the south side, Quincy side, Dorchester side of the anchorage areas, if Winthrop goes, if they go out early 7 a.m. and they get in their anchorage areas on the other side, they cannot cross over until after 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
So it's important that we have the PowerPoint out there on our website. I know WCAT has a copy of the PowerPoint. And anchorage areas 6, 7, and 8 is where the Winthrop boaters want to go.
Okay.
They want to be on this side, so if it gets to be bad weather, if it gets someone sick on their boat, they can just come right
Okay.
back in, and they can go back out to the anchorage areas. There's no
Okay.
restrictions
All right.
on that. But the harbor masters and the harbor patrols will be deployed that day, and they'll have the security of those anchorage areas closest to Winthrop. So it's a very nice accommodation that we have our vessels securing an anchorage area for the U.S. Coast Guard, but also close enough that if we have an incident at Deer Island, we can grab them. And they'll also have patrols dedicated for inner harbor activity. So if there's an emergency, there'll be plenty of vessels that Larry Powers, the harbor master, can deploy into the inner harbor. And of course, the fire department is being deployed as well, not just here in Deer Island or in the Point Shirley area, but also on the water as well. They're helping out Massport during that day, and they'll have their vessel with firefighters and EMTs on board, ready to address any issues on the water.
Okay. All right, so let's deal with Winthrop. So, and we'll start from the furthest point out, which is Deer Island. So what's the status? Reports are that people will be able to go on Deer Island. They'll have to walk on. Tell us how that whole
Sure.
thing happens.
At 6 p.m. Friday night, Deer Island will be officially closed.
Okay.
The parking lot, public walkways will be officially closed. They'll have security out there with state troopers. Taft's Ave at Otis will be closed. So if you come down Elliott, you'll have to swing back up Taft's.
Okay.
All public transportation will be turned there as well. We'll have a no parking on the right-hand side of Taft's outbound,
Okay.
going up towards Shirley, so we can actually get buses over to the curb,
Okay.
let people off on the curb and still wave people through so we don't have any congestion down there. We're trying to make this as the most convenient for the people who reside there as possible. Unfortunately, they know they've been through 3rd and 4th of July. They know that there's going to be some delays and there's going to be some traffic. And we'll work with them to make sure that they get their people that they're invited to the house down to their house. But that's where it really starts, is the night before, around 6 p.m.
Is that when the control will go down at Delby's Corner as well?
No.
In terms of the checkpoint?
No, the checkpoint, that the only disruption on Friday night will be that cruiser with 2 officers in it. There'll be a lot of activity on the island as far as security goes that we can't get into. It's not for public dissemination, and
Okay.
we're working very hard behind the
All right,
scenes
so
there.
as far as the night before, the only issue is down near Taps Ave and near Elliott.
You got it.
Okay.
And
So it's a normal evening.
normal evening.
So we get to the morning.
We get to the morning, we'll be deploying our forces around 6 a.m.
Okay.
The state police will be deploying their forces around 5 a.m. And then that's when we really go into full security mode. It's still our hopes is to keep the Point Shirley open as long as we can. And as long as we have plenty of officers at Tass and Otis, and making sure the traffic's flowing by Church Square. And if you're not a resident from Maryland down, then you're going to take a right and go up Simon Bayview and back out. We'll keep that trying to flow as smoothly as we can. What happens is, once there's no parking down there, if it's a nice beach day, you're going to have Euro Beach, where we'll get to. We don't want traffic jams. We don't want people just starting to park everywhere. So as that happens, we will then start our roadblocks, and we'll
All right,
start
but-
closing down the point.
So clear this up for me. The only folks that are going to be able to drive around that area are people that live there. Am that correct? Because they'll
Well,
have to have a sticker.
We'll try. We'll try to keep it open as long as we can.
Oh, I see what you're
As
getting
long
at.
as we can.
Okay.
It's like almost the 4th of July. We don't
All right.
close it at 6. People call us all the time. When are you
Okay.
closing the point? As soon as
Okay.
it fills up.
All right, so I
so we
see what
tried
you're
to,
gonna
just
do.
to try to make it more convenient for the people that live there and the
All right.
businesses that we affect when we do road closures.
Yeah.
We're trying to be as sensitive as we can. We
Okay.
understand the implications of closing a road.
All right, so the sticker use is only going to come into being when traffic, if you reach a point where you say, hey,
Saturation, right.
safety-wise, it's no good, no more parking.
Right.
And then you'll have to have a sticker to get by.
That's
Okay.
correct.
That's good. I think a lot of people misunderstand that. I think
You're
that's an
correct.
important
We've
point.
dealt, a lot of the businesses down in that area, the marinas, the yacht clubs, have reached out, and we've tried to clarify that, because there was that perception that we were just shutting it down and no one was going to be allowed in
Right.
and out, and that's not the case. So as the chief said, once it becomes saturated and we feel as though it's a public safety threat to pedestrians, then we're going to close it down and back our way out. Yeah, that
Okay.
was absolutely the perception, and
Okay,
we've been
that's
we've been
good.
trying
That's
to deal
good to
with it.
know. I think that's very important that we clear that up. So, what is the status? I was reading in the newspaper that there was all types of security things. You couldn't have any tents. You couldn't have this. That only pertains to viewing areas in Boston for the most
And
part.
Deer Island.
And Deer Island.
And Deer Island.
So, if somebody wants to go on Euro Beach and they want to put one of those popped-up canopy things, they can do it.
That's fine. Euro Beach is fine.
What's going to happen on Shore Drive? Is there going to be any restrictions on Shore Drive at all relative to going on the beach, tents and all that? Or-
Look, I just want to, if you
Canopies,
don't
I
mind,
should
because I'll lose concentration run if I don't. I just like to move up to
All right.
Euro Beach.
Stay-
Let's move
stay-
up to Euro Beach.
All right.
Yeah.
We have vendors in Euro Beach.
Yes.
The town manager's office is working hard to get vendors, have music, and make it almost like a family day for
And
Euro
I think
Beach.
it's a good deal. I think that's a
Absolutely, I
good
think
deal.
we should do it more often.
Yep.
To be honest with you, but I think with Sean, back to the beach day and the chamber does a beach day, and this is a good addition.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have shuttle service from satellite parking spots if we do close down to the landing, and then people can walk, because we don't want to be tying up Shirley Street
Yeah.
by making vans U-turns. So we'll drop everyone at the landing,
Yep.
where they can make a circle and come right back out and go pick up more people.
And if they want to, they can walk down Deer Island.
Yeah.
For that matter.
They absolutely
Okay.
can. So that's an excellent thing. I'm glad they did it. And the satellite parking is at the high school first, and then it moves down to the E.B. Newton on Walden Street, School Street, and they'll pick up there. There'll be designated pickup spots. They'll be marked. I just got an email this afternoon on that, getting the approval to mark those spots. Going to walk it tonight with the parking clerk to make sure that those spots are identifiable to people.
Now, who's doing the shuttles? Is the MBTA?
No, the shuttles is organized from Parks and Recs and the
Okay.
town manager's office.
Okay.
The parking clerk is going to oversee the shuttle service that morning.
Yep.
Michael DeLuiso, so he has some experience with that over at the BU where he works his full-time job. So he's going to run the shuttle service, and we're happy to give him that and take it away from us, and we don't have to worry about shuttle service. But we do want to get the word out there. There is a shuttle service.
Okay.
So don't come and illegally park and make your day miserable and with a ticket or a tow. Take the shuttle service, go to Euro Beach, have fun, and when you're done, they'll bring them back to the car. I think the last shuttle is going to run at 3 p.m. I asked them to make sure the shuttles are marked, what time the last shuttle runs, and where to get the last shuttle. So they can actually collect all those people that we actually got there. We don't want to abandon them there. We want to bring them back to their car and make it a pleasant day for them. So those are all very positive things and great things that happen on Euro Beach. We'll have certain patrols down there. No alcohol on Euro Beach. You know, that's obviously no smoking marijuana. People think that marijuana is legal and I can smoke it anywhere I want. They actually can't. So we want to keep it family oriented. We want to keep it family fun, but no alcohol and certainly no bonfires. All those activities are illegal that I just mentioned.
Okay.
So we don't like glass. We like carry in and carry out. Put your stuff in the barrel when you leave. Whatever you brought with you, you take with you, and make sure you get it in the barrel. So that's what we would ask the people going to Euro Beach, and be respectful because a lot of people live down there, right on the water. So, which they're always reaching out and very accommodating for events.
So Euro Beach, they're probably going to have roughly 10 to 15 vendors There's going to be some food trucks. The local merchants in Winthrop are setting up tents for food, etc. I
Yeah.
understand you'll be able to get anything from sausage sandwiches to hot dogs.
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
I haven't got an updated list yet. I think they're still working on it, but they're talking. I know I signed off on a slush permit.
Yep.
There's an ice cream permit that I think I signed off on for Euro Beach. I know I saw another vendor that was selling the sausages and that stuff certainly came by the licensing board.
Right.
As well, the health department will have their health inspector out to make sure all the food is being contained properly and cooked properly and everything else. And so then there's a lot of other businesses that are taking this as a business opportunity to show off what they're selling.
So I see the landing will be probably going to be full because it's going to be needs to be open for boaters.
I would say the landing's going to fill up by 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And those spots that are trailer allocated, those are by state agreement that those got to be allocated to trailer spots. They are running ferry services for viewing of the actual tall ships on Saturday. So that means those 50 ferry spots, it's got to remain 50 ferry spots. They have, I believe, an 8:30 ferry going out, and they have another one at 12:30 going out. So that'll be a change of spots.
That's the day of the tall ships.
The day that they added that day because they sold out.
I noticed. I
on the
wasn't
other
aware
days.
that they added that.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I understand it's filling up quickly, so
Okay.
in order to get through the roadblock, if we do close for the 12:30 showing, show your ferry ticket.
Yep.
And the officer will let you through. We'll ensure that the officers know about the ferry ticket.
Okay.
And then we know you have a spot in the landing for the ferry.
Okay.
And we'll let you through. So, but again, if you want to make it life easier for yourself, you can drive to a satellite parking spot
Yeah,
and take the
just take
shuttle
a
if you
shuttle.
want.
I think that's what everybody really should be, doing. Why drive down there when you can make it so convenient for yourself by just
Right.
taking a shuttle down there?
Yeah, I think it's a great addition to Winthrop. We want people to use Euro Beach. We want people to use our natural resources, and I think
it's
it'd
an
be great to do
opportunity,
it on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to have a shuttle service bringing us from satellite parking down. I think it's a perfect start. That I hope something to be bigger later on.
I agree. To tie it into the ferry. Okay, so we worked our way down. We're down to the public landing. We're down by Delby's Corner.
Yep.
So now let's go to Shore Drive.
Okay.
Anybody, are they closing it off? Are they going to
No,
monitor it?
that'll be open.
It'll be open.
That'll be monitored. I talked to Captain Blaney from the State Police,
Yep.
who's a new captain of this area about 4 weeks ago. He's been here for about 4 weeks. We've had numerous conversations and now a bunch of meetings with each other. He couldn't be at the Deer Island community meeting because his father just passed away that afternoon. He apologized for that, but we're still in constant contact. He will have dedicated resources to Shore Drive.
Okay.
Not a lot of dedicated resources, but some dedicated resources to Shore Drive. We will have Shore Drive monitored by our supervisors, myself and the deputy chief, to make sure that there's no traffic jams, that everything's flowing smoothly. But as everyone knows, when Delby closes on the 4th or 3rd, right, Shore Drive closes,
Yeah.
Beacon Circle closes,
Yeah.
Tewksbury closes, Underhill closes.
Yeah.
So you can expect that, which will slow traffic on Shore Drive because everyone will want to go in to the point, and we'll stop them at Beacon Circle and tell them
Yeah.
they can't, and there's a little exchange there. Usually, we'll backs up traffic on us, so they can, to make your life easier. I'd stay off of Shore Drive if we do close Delby's, because you're just going to be going in circles at that point.
So the biggest thing really is going to be the weather in the morning. Really, when you think about it, when you first get up, if it's a clear, crisp day, then it's to your benefit that something big's going to happen in terms of
Well,
volume of people.
we like to look at it the other way. It's to our disadvantage. When you tell people they
I
can't
know.
do something, they don't like it.
I know.
And that's our job, unfortunately, is always telling people they can't do something. But we're hoping for we're certainly hoping for a nice day for people to get out. My wife always tells me, don't be the Grinch. You go out and embrace these activities. It's good for the community. It's good for the town. I always take her advice, as a smart man does. So, yeah.
Well, the biggest takeaway that I've got out of this discussion was the fact that Delby's Corner is not going to be closed down in the morning. It's all going to be based on the volume.
Yes.
And that's a big thing, because a lot of people that I've talked to question that. I know some people were saying, well, what are we going to do? Because people are going to come over, we're going to have breakfast, and then we're going to walk up the beach. Where are they going to park? So
The message is clear. Get them in early.
Get
them in early.
Just like the 4th of July.
Get 'em in
in
early.
early.
Yep.
You know, and certainly we'll try to be as accommodating as possible. And we're hoping that it's going to be, you know, not as hot as today. It makes it a long day in these dark uniforms, standing out there for 10 hours. If it's a hot day like today, I'm hoping it's a nice, pleasant breeze and sunshine and nice flat waters for everyone to enjoy. But MWRA's also has committed that no cars will be on MWRA property, not even their employees. Their employees are being bussed over from Chelsea.
Oh, that's good.
So, you know, at the end of the day, of course, we're talking with Paul Revere just before we came on, Ron, and Paul Revere's having 5 express buses from Orion Heights to Deer Island.
Oh, nice.
So,
That's good.
and then our normal Saturday schedule will still run as normal. So they're going to have 5 buses to from the backside of Orion Heights, directly down to Taft Ave.
So that's good. That alleviates more cars coming into Winthrop.
Yeah,
you go.
That
yeah,
helps
and
you out even more.
MWRA's worked very hard to get the message out. There will be no cars here. Through signboards and through their website and through their Facebook page, they wanted to make sure the public knew no cars, and they're committed to that, to make sure their employees are not even bringing cars on.
Right. That's good. Good.
I think the Coast Guard was really good in trying to get out some information for the boating community too, with some of the stuff that they posted, which is on our website.
Yeah, it's on the PowerPoint.
There's some excellent information there. What's prohibited, what's not prohibited to come out onto the Deer Island for
Right.
the viewing. We met with the Winthrop Yacht Club membership, you know, because they're affected by it. We've had numerous conversations with Crystal Cove business people. Because we're trying to get the message, and I'm so glad you bring the point that you had made about the people's perception that we're just shutting it down, and that isn't the case. You
Yeah.
know.
That's good.
We're
That's
trying to
good.
work with everybody here.
And you know, certainly the Harbor Masters has dedicated their
Yeah.
resources that we have to the Holtz tall ships. For us, it's easy. It's a 1-day event for 1.5-day event for the police department. The Harbor Masters, it's a week-long event for them, because they have some security patrols to do inside the harbor in Boston Harbor to help out. Again, there'll be a traffic pattern in the harbor. That's on our website. Please look at that traffic pattern and make sure you obey the traffic pattern. There'll be a lot of Coast Guard and police boats making sure people go in the right direction. And that's just so there's no chaos in the inner harbor, and it's easier for us to watch.
You know, one of the things we bring up, you know, at these meetings that we've been attending with the public is Winthrop's such a great community and such a safe community, but we can't be complacent. You know, in this day and age, we need to be, you know, diligent, and we tell the community, if you see something that's making you feel uncomfortable, please let us know right away.
That's
I mean,
important.
I don't want to be Bobby Bummer, but, you know, that's
No,
a reality
that's
in
true.
today's world that,
Yep.
you know, complacency is our biggest enemy. So if you see something, please, you know, just let us know and let us act on it.
That's a very good point. And if anybody has a question about getting stickers at this late hour, they go to the police department at this point?
Police department at this point, the front window
Okay.
will handle it. You know, we've hired an officer today just to give out more stickers and stuff like that. So we'll play it. We're trying not to spend the overtime money, but we have to put the officers where they're needed and make sure the public gets what they need.
Very good. Chief Delahanty, Deputy Chief.
Thank you so much.
Good
Thank you
seeing
for
you.
having me.
John?
Always a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Terry?
Thank you for having us.
Okay, the tall ships are coming on the 17th. So watch WCAT. At the end of this program, there'll be more information relative to what you should do, what you shouldn't do, where to go, where not to go. Till next time, this is Ron Vecchia. Thank you for watching.